This week, we discuss book fairs and find out the work behind one. Some good old-fashioned coffee talk, getting some much-needed rain, spraying dandelions with Dave's homemade sprayer after some much-needed rain, and go back in time to talk about plowing, a long-lost art. This is the Rural Reflections Podcast. Welcome to the Rural Reflections Podcast. Rural Reflections West is covered by Dave Nelson out in Carrington, North Dakota. Rural Reflections East, well, that's covered right here at the studios of Thief River Falls Radio with myself, Grant Nelson. Good morning, Dave, and welcome to the show.
Morning, Grant.
Before you got on the air this morning, you got yourself a big glass of water, which is a great idea just in case you get a scratchy throat. Now, earlier this week, in my news director capacities at Thief River Falls Radio, while I was off the air, in between commentary on the air, I shotgunned the rest of a bag of Cheetos, and the Cheetos went down fine, but the fine powdered dust got on my throat and sent me into about 5 minutes of on and off hacking. So I didn't have any water with me and I was kind of stuck on the air. So very savvy move on your part to get the water before we got on the air. Now, one thing I saw this morning was your daughter had a little bit of video of your grandson at the book fair, and this was in Jamestown, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's at the St. John's Academy in Jamestown.
Yeah, and it reminded me and Lisa. I looked over at Lisa and I could see her little iPad. She had the video up about the same time as I did, and we were both smiling and laughing. One, because it was a very cute little video where they had an actual parade for the book fair where all the kids kind of had their own little display, and young Noah had his on a red wagon, and it was fun to see. But I think even deeper than that, it brought back awfully good memories of book fairs when I was in grade school. I remember getting that flyer or that magazine. Sometimes we'd get a magazine and everybody'd pass it around. You'd have it for a little bit of time, or else you'd get your own individual flyer that you could tear the back portion out, and that's how you'd order your book that you wanted, or books. And I remember always thinking the tremendous variety of books that I could get from that, and just waiting for the day when the books arrived and how exciting it was to have all these different subjects. I mean, I couldn't even decide which one I was going to do first. And of course, they usually gave you the books towards the end of the day, because if they gave you the books at the beginning of the day, you would have been wrecked for the rest of the day. So, I mean, it was an exciting, you would have been wrecked because you were wondering, I got to look at these books. I don't want to pay attention to the teacher today. I want to look at all these new books. So it makes me happy that they still have book fairs too, Dave. But I mean, do you have some memories? I know you have some memories of more current ones. They're more opposite of what I think, but do you have any memories from when you were young about having book fairs?
Yeah, I do remember. There was a book order that would come in, and you hoped you would have one in the box that we used to do. So I remember, I suppose it was done through Weekly Reader or something. I don't even remember who. But anyway, yeah, we had them when I was in grade school some 60 years ago.
Now, more recently, though, your wife, Mary, works a lot with the book fair in Carrington. And when I say she works with the book fair, that also means you're enlisted in the book fair and maybe even on down through the line with some of your kids, right?
Yeah, the mention of book fair around here usually strikes horror in the hearts of Mary's husband and her two daughters. There's usually some pretty elaborate book fair stations set up in the library, and we've built a pirate ship and numerous things out of cardboard that require a little bit of carpentry skills to make it stand up, and takes up our basement for a couple months because it becomes a paint shop. And all these cardboard caricatures are done up pretty much in our house. And then comes the day when you have to haul the cardboard in an open pickup box and get it to the school in one piece.
Yeah, undamaged.
And,
that's the big caveat.
Yeah, and so everybody kind of senses when it's going to happen because, first of all, it's like, so do you have time to do a little project with me, or you like to paint?
That's
paint a little bit.
The leading questions are the worst. Hey, you like to paint, don't you? You're into kind of arts and crafts stuff, right? Okay, those are the ones I can just feel the hair on my arm going up. Okay, sorry to get in the way there. Go ahead, back to you, Dave.
Well, anyway, that's the bait for Aaron and Sarah usually, and then once the cardboard is painted, then it's up to me to try and get it to stand up and stay up for, I don't know, a month of book fair probably, or more than that. I don't know just how long it goes on. But anyway, the Carrington Library, grade school library, ends up quite well decorated for book fair. And then they have photo shoot areas where the kids can take a picture of being a pirate behind the pirate ship or whatever. Actually, I think the pirate ship is still in use at the school now by the dance team. They have a dance number they do around it. So it's kind of stinks while you're doing it, but it's always good when it's done and well received by everybody. So that's my current memories of book fair, which are a little less than wonderful.
They're a little more dark, and the honest truth is probably the book fair probably lasts for 2 or 3 days, but Mary just continues it on because she enjoys it so much. I imagine, though, I bet the kids are just love that. I mean, can you imagine having all those different little scenarios to go to as you're picking up your books? And of course, I mean, it's exciting enough as it is. However, down in Jamestown now, I see you brought up a good point. The teachers, they took the work of getting it all put together and made it into kind of a separate sub-project for the kids. I mean, we saw young Noah pulling his little parade float through the gymnasium, and I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Yeah, they had a lot of fun with it. And I think as Noah told his teacher, he had some help from his aunts with his float, or his aunt and his mom. And anyway, it was all done to promote book fair, and Noah went a little overboard. He picked a favorite book of his to make a float on, and I don't know, the kids got prizes or book credits or something for their floats. And it looked like they had a great time.
It sure did. And I want to know who Bad Kitty is, because that's who that whole float was dedicated to. Bad Kitty for President. I got a kick out of that. That's his book that he based it on, apparently.
I believe so. I think Bad Kitty is a character in a series of books, but that shows how much I'm up on actually the books. You know, I don't know for sure, but it's something like that.
Well, it's like a lot of times the people who make the things that everybody else enjoys oftentimes don't get to enjoy them. But I'm glad to see the genetics for enjoying books and for enjoying kitty cats continue on in our family. Dave, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with more on the Rural Reflections Podcast. Welcome back to the Rural Reflections Podcast. Dave Nelson, Grant Nelson. You know where we're at. Dave, we've been doing a lot of yard work around the house this week, getting everything in ship shape. I mean, it's been warm enough, so stick picking is done. I mean, the branches that fall off and doing the tree trimming, that sort of thing. Well, we're kind of pretty much wrapped up with that. We're doing other things like into our second grouping of lawn mowing, and also I think we're going to start getting plants today. But you've been busy working on dandelions, fighting the great dandelion war of Carrington. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've been actually waiting to use my little homemade sprayer because I was afraid if I put spray on my dead grass, it would probably stunt it even worse than what it is.
Yeah.
So far I've fertilized the lawn, and yesterday I decided I had a shot at it. It had rained a little bit ahead of time, and it was warm. Things looked like they were growing like crazy. So I took an hour off of work, and I went home and sprayed the yard and sprayed my outlot, and got a great kill on the dandelions. They were curled up within an hour.
Nice.
So, and of course that doesn't mean anything about the next crop that's coming because they're just waiting out there. But anyway, it was nice to get that out of the way yesterday. And so I have actually done one time of mowing now, and we've fertilized and we've sprayed. So we're good to go now till midsummer, excepting now that we have some rain, we'll have grass to mow.
That's exactly
Another
right.
little thing we got along with the rain,
Yeah.
the mosquitoes must have been just sitting there ready to pop because they came right away as soon as it rained.
I suppose, while you were massing your troops against the dandelions, the mosquitoes were massing their troops against you. And underground right now, the dandelions are massing their troops to retrench and come up again. And folks, in case you didn't get this, we had a little breach of etiquette. We're doing coffee talk right now. We had to move into that. It's just kind of the way it flowed today. But we got to talk a little bit about rain too, Dave. I mean, you're talking about the rain coming down, the mosquitoes coming out. You got some real blessed rain over in Carrington. We got some nice rain over here. It varied anywhere from maybe 3/10 to, that 7/8, and then it kind of jumped up into that 3-inch area and up to 6.5 inches up at Argyle, of course, where our brother Daryl is at. And they've got some flooding over there, some overland problems, and water right up to even some of the tarred roads. That's an awful lot of water to take at one time. But you had pretty good rain out there. I mean, you had the stuff that you really need this week, didn't you?
Yeah, we've managed to get about an inch 45 hundredths. We got 80 hundredths of it last night. And so we're feeling pretty happy this month now to actually get some rain. We've had a inch 90 for the year, so this was a big month for us. And this rain really, this is the one that showed. The rest of them have been small, but I imagine the 30 hundredths that we had day before yesterday probably warmed the ground up to accept the 80 that we got last night. So it's really welcome rain. And everything is just growing green here today. It just instantly changed colors.
That's nice because you guys weren't quite in the enhanced drought area, but just a little bit west of you, enhanced drought was showing up on the USDA map. So it's awfully good to see you guys get a little rain and get a little moisture and get that seed germinated that everybody had a chance to get in the ground. Now let's talk a little bit more about farming. Plowing. You don't see a lot of it anymore, but at one time there was a lot of plowing going on. Back in the 70s, everybody was, what did Ag Commissioner Earl Butts say? Farm fence row to fence row. Well, you needed a plow to break up some of that pasture land if you were going to go fence row to fence row. And plows were pretty popular. And you played a part in that because you were over in Fordville in the, mid-70s, working over there at the implement dealership, weren't you?
Yeah, it was early to mid-70s I was there. I had a lot of plowing experience from the farm. We had several plows, and we had just gotten a couple of new plows and that, and so plowing was a very big part of our little bit of farming that we did. And we had bought another farm that was pretty much all sheep pasture, and I plowed that all up. And I plowed that with a plow that just had a trip bottom, not a reset bottom. So then when I moved away and started working in that, I managed to tuck that into a Melrose reset plow.
Wow. Thank you.
And that was luxury, because you could just drive along and it'll trip out, but it'll trip right back in again.
Yep.
And that plow was great for rolling rocks out. But anyway, in order to get that plow, I used to go from Fordville to Cooperstown and pick up newly painted plows on a weekly basis. Farmers were buying stuff like crazy, and I would actually go to the main plant and pick up a plow with sticky paint on it, and they would load that on the trailer. And then I had to go in various places around town to pick up the moldboards and the bolt kits and whatever other things, hose kits and that were stored around town. And then we'd bring them back to Fordville, and I would set them up and go back for more. It was quite a common thing to make a trip or two there a week when things are really going. And if you can imagine a little town like that, there was half-built or fully built plows sitting any place. They had a place that you could store something. So it was a big deal then. And of course, the farmers were all buying new tractors, and they'd get a bigger tractor, so they had to get a bigger plow. So they had more land to farm, so they had to get it done quicker. And it was a big time for plows, and now those plows they're coming out of the woodwork, and people are using them for plow days, and some people have tried some moldboard plowing again. And of course, we're pretty much no-till everything, or minimum till, but there's still a few people that want to try plow a little bit. And if you have romantic ideas about plowing, the bad part about plowing is it's one of the slowest tillage things you can do, because your width of plow and that is quite a bit less than it is with your cultivator, because it pulls harder. But anyway, there's still a tiny bit of plowing done, but not much.
I like what you say about the romance of plowing, because I think most people will say they enjoy plowing, but it's like eating ice cream. I like eating ice cream, but I don't want to do it all day. I want to see some progress. And when you're doing plowing, I've watched it before. Of course, Dad, he never let us. I think you're the only one probably in our family who ever plowed, because the rest of us were like, you stay away from that plow. I always wondered to myself, what magic powers does this plow have? Well, I know what it was. He wanted to make sure it was done right. So it was either him or you who did it. But even with the enjoyment of plowing and turning over the soil and that sort of thing, after a while, it's like, am I ever going to get done with this?
Yeah, it was a slow process. I remember there was a farmer just outside of Fordville that plowed this triangular-shaped field every year. And, of course, if you're a real true plow aficionado, you never turn the dirt over the same direction any 2 years in a row. You plow the dead furrow back in every other year, and then you plow it out. So you're keeping the same dirt kind of in the same place.
Yep.
Well, that's what this guy did. He could start that triangular-shaped field from the middle and work his way to the outside, and then he'd go from the outside and work his way back in again. And I was always amazed at the fact that he could do this triangular-shaped field starting in the middle and work his way out, and it would turn out for him.
Well, maybe there is some magic in those plows, Dave. Maybe there is a little bit of magic, or maybe it's just a lot of operator skill. I tell you, it's already, believe it or not, already time for the end of our podcast. Hey, do you have anything else for us this week, Dave?
No, but I'm just real thankful for the rain, and it's nice we got it, and I hope everybody gets what they need with it.
Okay, that sounds good. And congratulations to the Carrington Cardinals. They're graduating here this weekend or next weekend?
Next weekend, yeah.
Next weekend. Well, good. Well, we got a bunch of them graduating around here too, and it's kind of an exciting time, so it's always fun to be a little bit a part of that. So, Dave, you have a great week. We'll talk to you next week, okay? There he is, my brother Dave Nelson. He's Rural Reflections West. I'm Grant Nelson, Rural Reflections East, and this is the Rural Reflections Podcast.